There is a law older than time itself, written in the very structure of the universe. A man's life can never rise higher than his vision. You can only climb to the altitude your own mind allows. You may possess intelligence, ambition, talent, and opportunity, but if your vision is small, your results will be small. If your mind is ruled by fear, your destiny will be ruled by failure. If your heart is governed by limitation, you will live inside a cage built by your own belief. Every structure that has ever been built began first as a vision in someone's mind. Every empire, every invention, every achievement was born twice, first in imagination, then in form. But the tragedy of life is that most people die without ever truly being born in the first place. They live and die within the boundaries of other people's expectations, never daring to test the walls of the mental prison they were handed as children. They speak of goals, but their goals are confined to comfort. They speak of dreams, but their dreams are diluted by fear. They settle for survival while calling it security. Yet there exists another kind of man, another kind of woman, the rare individual whose vision burns brighter than circumstance, whose faith is stronger than fact, whose inner picture of destiny refuses to shrink in the face of difficulty. To such people, limitation is a challenge, not a command. Adversity is instruction, not punishment. They understand a timeless principle. Your outer world will always expand or contract to match the scope of your inner vision. A small vision breeds small courage, small persistence, small faith. A large vision demands large discipline, large endurance, and large self-control. You cannot carry a great dream in a weak mind. You cannot sustain a bold purpose with a restless heart. The strength of your destiny depends entirely upon the strength of your inner discipline. There is no limit to the mind except the limit you acknowledge. The only chains that exist are those you fasten around yourself. When you say, "I can't," the universe agrees. When you say, "I will," the universe begins to rearrange itself in your favor. Life responds not to wishful thinking, but to decisive belief backed by disciplined action. You must learn to think in terms of cause and effect. Success is not mysterious, it is mathematical. The cause is clear vision combined with mental discipline. The effect is inevitable achievement. When the mind is controlled and the vision is vivid, every faculty, intellect, emotion, intuition, and will aligns into a single current of power. You become unstoppable, not because life becomes easier, but because your inner command becomes absolute. To live this way, you must first confront the truth that most avoid. Your emotions, left unchecked, are your greatest enemy. They are the saboteurs that destroy focus, the thieves that rob opportunity. Anger distorts judgment. Fear paralyzes initiative. Doubt corrodes purpose. Impatience weakens persistence. And yet these emotions, when mastered, become the very fuel of greatness. The fire that burns a forest can also forge steel. The difference lies in control. To control emotion is to command energy. Every feeling you experience is potential power. But the mind without discipline leaks energy like a cracked vessel, spilling passion in argument, courage in complaint, ambition in distraction. The disciplined mind, by contrast, gathers its energy, directs it, and unleashes it with precision. Such a mind can move mountains because it wastes nothing. This is why emotional detachment is not coldness, it is efficiency. It is not the denial of feeling, but the dominion over it. The detached mind observes emotion without surrendering to it. It chooses its responses rather than reacting to its impulses. Detachment is the first step toward wisdom, for it creates the space where reason can breathe. Consider this truth: no man is free who is a slave to reaction. Freedom does not mean doing whatever you feel. It means governing what you feel, so that you may do what you must. The weak are ruled by moods. The strong rule their moods. The ordinary complain that life is unfair. The disciplined recognize that fairness has nothing to do with it. Life rewards accuracy, persistence, and mastery. Now we arrive at the first principle of all enduring success: definiteness of purpose. Without a definite purpose, the mind wanders. Without direction, emotion dominates. Without aim, power dissipates. Purpose unites your faculties. It gives every thought a direction, every emotion a channel, every decision a criterion. A man with a definite purpose may err, but he cannot drift. His energy moves forward, even when he stumbles, for all paths lead toward the same summit. Definiteness of purpose is the foundation. Self-discipline is the structure built upon it. Discipline is the practice of bringing thought into alignment with purpose and keeping emotion under the supervision of reason. It is the art of saying no to distraction, no to delay, no to indulgence, until the habit of mastery becomes second nature. Discipline converts vision from poetry into architecture, from dream into blueprint, from potential into reality. Autosuggestion, then, becomes the mechanism by which philosophy reshapes psychology. Whatever you repeat to your mind begins to believe. And whatever the mind believes, it sets in motion to achieve. Therefore, feed it carefully. Speak to yourself as one commanding an army. Tell your mind what it shall do, what it shall feel, what it shall become. Do not wait for motivation. Manufacture it through repetition. The disciplined use of autosuggestion builds the habits that sustain mastery when emotion falters. From here arises another principle: mastery over emotion. If you allow emotions to govern your actions, you forfeit your power. But if you command your thoughts, you command your future. The mind is the throne of kingship. The heart is its servant. Reverse their order, and chaos reigns. Align them, and harmony produces greatness. The wise use emotion as a tool. The foolish become its tool. Now contemplate the principle of accurate thinking. To think accurately is to separate fact from feeling, assumption from truth, opinion from evidence. The accurately thinking mind is immune to propaganda, gossip, and panic. It sees through appearance and moves by principle. It does not chase every rumor of opportunity. It analyzes, decides, and acts. Accurate thinking is the lens that keeps vision in focus. Without it, even the brightest dream blurs into delusion. Together, these principles, definiteness of purpose, self-discipline, autosuggestion, mastery over emotion, and accurate thinking form the pillars of the indestructible mind. They are not theories, they are tools. They are not philosophy for contemplation, but laws for operation. When used in harmony, they create a mind so stable, so centered, that no circumstance can overthrow it. Let us examine the psychology behind this harmony. Your conscious mind directs attention. Your subconscious mind multiplies whatever attention receives. If you focus on fear, your subconscious produces more reasons to fear. If you focus on confidence, it produces more opportunities to confirm that confidence. The mind is not moral, it is mechanical. It obeys the dominant thought. Therefore, let your dominant thought be one of command, of victory, of purpose fulfilled. A great vision is not a fantasy. It is a declaration of alignment between your will and universal law. You do not force success. You invite it by becoming equal to it. You rise in proportion to your capacity to remain centered while the world trembles. You advance to the degree that you can stay composed while others lose control. The calm mind, detached from confusion, becomes the compass by which others find direction. And here lies the secret few ever grasp. Calmness is not weakness, it is concentrated strength. The man who shouts reveals insecurity. The man who whispers with authority controls the room. The individual who reacts reveals dependence on the world. The one who responds reveals mastery of it. Calmness is the signature of confidence. It signals to the universe that you trust your purpose more than you fear your obstacles. Your task, therefore, is not merely to build a life, but to build a mind equal to that life. For the mind is the generator of circumstance, and the disciplined mind generates opportunity continuously. Do not pursue wealth, pursue wisdom. Do not chase applause, pursue mastery. Do not strive for ease, strive for excellence. Wealth, applause, and ease will follow mastery as shadows follow light. You must learn to see beyond what is visible. The average mind believes only what it can touch, but the visionary mind believes in what it can conceive. The eyes report to the brain, vision reports to the soul. Sight shows you limitation. Vision reveals law. And law, when obeyed, delivers power. The law is this: whatever you consistently think, feel, and believe becomes the framework of your world. Therefore, think deliberately, feel constructively, and believe unwaveringly. The weak see problems, the disciplined see patterns. The weak see delay, the wise see development. Every obstacle is both test and teacher. When life closes one door, it is not punishment, it is precision. The world is constantly removing from your path what no longer serves your growth. The undisciplined mind calls it loss. The philosophical mind calls it alignment. You are never being denied, you are being directed. Emotional detachment is the art of remaining centered amid the storm. The man who detaches does not deny his feelings. He directs them. He does not flee from difficulty. He faces it without surrendering his composure. Detachment is not coldness, it is control. It is the difference between burning and being burned. It is the power to say, I will feel this emotion, but I will not let it command my behavior. Without detachment, emotion becomes a tyrant. It manipulates thought, distorts perception, and sabotages purpose. One moment you are confident, the next you are defeated. One word of criticism, and your peace collapses. One disappointment, and your motivation vanishes. But when the mind is trained to detach, peace becomes unshakable. You may feel the sting of failure, but you will not bow to it. You may experience the pang of rejection, but you will not interpret it as ruin. Detachment transforms emotion into data information for analysis, not material for drama. To live without detachment is to live as a puppet, your strings pulled by circumstance. To live with detachment is to live as a master, unmoved by the noise of the world. This mastery is not arrogance, it is discipline. For you cannot lead men, govern wealth, or command destiny while being enslaved by your own reactions. Your philosophy must therefore include the law of mental neutrality. Mental neutrality is the mind's ability to remain balanced under pressure, to think clearly while others are consumed by panic. It is the power to stand amid chaos and see order, to observe events without immediately assigning judgment or emotion. It is the space between stimulus and response, the holy ground where freedom resides. Train yourself in neutrality. The next time insult arises, do not answer it with anger. The next time failure whispers humiliation, observe it instead of defending against it. Step back, ask, what is true? What can I control? What must I learn? The moment you do, emotion loses its power and reason takes command. You will find that most of life's crises dissolve not because they change, but because your perception does. This is the discipline of thought, to remain captain even when the ship rocks. The storm may be fierce, but it is temporary. The captain who abandons the wheel guarantees destruction. The one who stays steady reaches shore. Your thoughts are that wheel. Hold them firmly, and no storm can overturn you. Now let us ascend to the power of calmness. Calmness is not passivity, it is poise. It is the unshakable faith that everything serves a higher order, even when the pattern is not yet visible. Calmness gives clarity, and clarity multiplies strength. The man who is calm under pressure becomes a center of gravity. Others are drawn to his stability. Calmness is contagious. When you master it, you raise the vibration of everyone around you. You may say, but how can I remain calm when everything seems to be falling apart? The answer is this: understand that life's greatest expansions are preceded by apparent collapse. The seed must split to grow. The shell must crack before the bird can fly. The darkness you fear is the passageway to power. The world is not punishing you, it is preparing you. The calm mind sees through the surface of struggle and perceives the shape of destiny forming beneath. In this state of calm, the mind becomes receptive to guidance. Ideas arise. Intuition sharpens. You begin to see patterns that panic once obscured. Solutions appear not by effort, but by stillness. The calm mind becomes the tuning fork of universal intelligence. It hears what the noisy mind cannot. Napoleon Hill called this the invisible counsel, that mysterious intelligence which speaks to the prepared mind. Calmness prepares, discipline receives. You must therefore protect your inner climate as fiercely as a farmer protects his crops. Guard your peace. When negative people speak, do not let their poison enter your soil. When fear whispers, do not entertain its story. When failure tempts you to surrender, respond with faith so firm, it shakes the ground beneath doubt. This brings us to the next law, the principle of thought first. Everything that exists in your life began as thought. The world you see is the reflection of what you once believed possible. Nothing appears until it is first constructed in imagination. The imagination is the blueprint room of destiny. But imagination without discipline is chaos. It creates fantasies instead of futures. The disciplined imagination transforms possibility into plan. If you wish to rise above limits, you must think larger than those limits. The world is not impressed by your complaints. It is transformed by your conviction. Vision must be larger than circumstance, larger than fear, larger than doubt. You must dare to conceive what has never been done, to believe what has never been seen, and to act as though it were already achieved. The world always belongs to the man whose vision commands it. A great vision demands great discipline, because reality will always test its authenticity. Every dream worth achieving will meet resistance. The moment you decide to expand, life will challenge your capacity to maintain belief. Adversity is not opposition, it is examination. The universe asks, do you truly want what you say you want? Are you willing to control yourself long enough to receive it? And most fail not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they lack emotional endurance. They grow weary of waiting, fearful of failing, and impatient for reward. But the disciplined mind understands that time is not the enemy, it is the medium through which mastery is formed. You cannot plant today and harvest tomorrow. You must sow, water, protect, and wait in faith. The law is precise. You will reap if you do not faint. Patience, then, is the child of discipline. It is not passive waiting, it is active faith. It is the refusal to let emotion dictate timeline. The man who masters patience becomes immune to frustration, for he knows that progress is certain even when invisible. He trusts process more than appearance, principle more than perception. Such a man is unstoppable, for he cannot be rushed, discouraged, or derailed. Now reflect on this truth. Discipline and detachment are not chains, they are wings. They free you from the tyranny of impulse. They release you from the slavery of circumstance. They grant you dominion over your world. The masses reject discipline because they think it limits them. The wise embrace discipline because they know it liberates them. For what is freedom but the ability to govern oneself? To master your emotions is to become the architect of destiny. To master your thoughts is to become the engineer of your world. To master your reactions is to become the ruler of your fate. You are not here to react to life. You are here to direct it. The Creator gave you imagination, will, and reason not for survival, but for sovereignty. So enlarge your vision. Refuse to think in terms of what is probable. Think in terms of what is possible. Refuse to shrink your dream to match your comfort. Expand your character to match your dream. Refuse to negotiate with fear. Refuse to be governed by doubt. Let your purpose burn brighter than your pain. Let your faith speak louder than your fear. For vision that is smaller than limits is slavery. But vision that transcends limits is the very definition of freedom. There will come a moment when your vision demands everything from you, your patience, your courage, your endurance, your entire soul. And when that moment comes, understand this truth. Greatness is purchased through resistance. No man is refined in comfort. The sword does not shine until it has met the fire. Diamonds are not formed by gentleness, but by pressure. The universe strengthens you by opposition. It sharpens you through delay. It matures you through disappointment. Each challenge you face is a chisel, shaping your character into the exact design required to fulfill your vision. But the undisciplined cry out, "Why is life so difficult?" The disciplined whisper, "Because I am being forged. There is no other way to grow. Every weakness must be exposed before it can be strengthened. Every illusion must be shattered before truth can be built. Every fear must be confronted before faith can rise." The visionary understands this process and welcomes it. He does not resist correction, he embraces it. He knows that every trial is preparation, every test is instruction, and every obstacle is initiation. This is the law of preparation. The dream you hold will demand a stronger version of you than the one who conceived it. Life will not hand you your vision. It will prepare you to become equal to it. The struggle you face is not punishment, it is calibration. The delay is not denial, it is instruction. The wise man does not ask, "When will I receive?" He asks, "How can I become ready?" Emotional detachment plays its part here too. Without detachment, the soul grows weary from disappointment. But with detachment, you can endure without bitterness. You can fight without fury. You can wait without despair. Detachment gives you endurance because it disconnects your peace from your progress. The undisciplined tie their happiness to results. The master ties it to principle. He works not because the outcome flatters him, but because the process defines him. And it is this mindset, this unbreakable philosophy, that separates the conqueror from the crowd. The crowd moves when inspired. The conqueror moves when commanded by purpose. The crowd gives up when discouraged. The conqueror endures when discouraged. The crowd seeks comfort. The conqueror seeks clarity. Discipline is the bridge between purpose and accomplishment, and detachment keeps that bridge standing under weight. Let us now consider the principle of controlled focus. The mind, like light, gains power only when concentrated. A scattered mind accomplishes nothing. A focused mind alters the course of nations. You must learn to fix attention, as a laser fixes its beam narrow, unyielding, and precise. Every distraction you entertain is a theft from your destiny. Every indulgence you justify is a delay in your ascension. The undisciplined mind chases everything. The wise mind chooses deliberately. Do not be fooled by the apparent busyness of the world. Motion is not progress. Noise is not power. Popularity is not purpose. The majority are exhausted because they are scattered, pulled in 10 directions by fear, vanity, and approval. You must be different. You must be still, centered, immovable in purpose. Do one thing and do it completely. Then move to the next. The mind that focuses becomes magnetic. It attracts resources, opportunities, and people aligned with its vibration. The universe conspires for the man who knows what he wants and refuses to be diverted. And yet, clarity of purpose without mental discipline is like a ship with sails, but no rudder. It moves, but not toward destiny. You must therefore develop the habit of mental command. Speak to your mind as a king commands his army. Give it orders. When it wanders, summon it back. When it resists, discipline it. When it complains, silence it. When it doubts, remind it of its orders. Say to it daily, "You exist to serve my vision, not to sabotage it." The mind trained this way becomes loyal, reliable, unbreakable. You must also master the economy of effort. Every thought and action should serve your vision. Do not waste energy on resentment, jealousy, gossip, or revenge. These are luxuries the undisciplined cannot afford. Every ounce of energy must be conserved for creation. The wise man measures not his hours, but his impact. He does not seek balance, he seeks alignment. Balance is for those who fear extremes. Alignment is for those who live by design. When your energy, your vision, and your purpose align, exhaustion disappears and momentum becomes perpetual. Now, we come to the law of persistence. This law states that every result of enduring value is achieved by those who persist beyond the limits of temporary emotion. Success is not achieved by inspiration, but by repetition. Emotion fades, discipline endures. Enthusiasm begins, endurance completes. The difference between dreamers and achievers is that the achievers kept going when inspiration left. There is a moment in every pursuit when the mind screams to stop, when fatigue whispers that enough has been done. That moment is the test. If you yield, you remain ordinary. If you persist, you pass through limitation into greatness. For persistence, properly understood, is not stubbornness. It is faith expressed through action. It is the conviction that no defeat is permanent unless you accept it. Repeat this law until it burns into your soul. No obstacle can outlast the man who will not quit. The mountain tires before the climber does. The night ends before the traveler yields. Time itself bends before the disciplined will. But persistence is impossible without detachment. You must detach from the illusion of instant success. You must detach from the expectation of applause. You must detach from the need to see results immediately. The harvest belongs to those who work long enough to deserve it. Your task is to plant and protect. Nature decides the season of fruit. Let us turn now to the principle of emotional alchemy. Every emotion, when transmuted by discipline, becomes fuel for progress. Fear becomes vigilance. Anger becomes determination. Frustration becomes strategy. Sadness becomes empathy. Joy becomes gratitude. The wise do not suppress emotion, they refine it. The alchemist of achievement transforms every feeling into motion. Nothing is wasted. If you wish to rise, you must learn this sacred art, to convert pain into power. Pain is energy. Energy is neutral. Its effect depends on direction. The same heat that melts wax hardens steel. The same difficulty that breaks one man builds another. The difference is philosophy. The undisciplined interpret pain as rejection. The wise interpret it as redirection. The undisciplined flee from it. The wise absorb it, study it, and then use it. Now, let us discuss the law of thought precedence. Thought precedes form. The outer world cannot change without an internal adjustment. You do not achieve success and then feel successful. You feel successful and then achieve success. Emotion follows thought, result follows emotion. You must think the world into being. The law is unbreakable. Therefore, your task is not to chase success, but to cultivate the consciousness of success. Walk as if it were already yours. Think as if you were already the man you aspire to be. Discipline your emotions to align with that image. The subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between imagined and real. It simply acts on what it believes. Give it a belief so clear, so vivid, that reality has no choice but to conform. But beware, belief without work is fantasy, and work without belief is slavery. Power lies in their union. Belief gives work meaning, work gives belief proof. Discipline unites them into destiny. Now, consider the law of influence. Influence is not achieved by manipulation, but by mastery. The world follows those who command themselves. Self-control radiates power. Emotional stability commands trust. Calmness attracts respect. People naturally follow the one who does not waver, who thinks clearly when others panic, who acts decisively when others hesitate. Influence is not granted. It is earned by demonstration of control. This is why leadership is not a title but a temperament. The leader is the man who can hold his vision in chaos, who can remain emotionally neutral while others are possessed by fear. He is the still point in the spinning wheel of confusion. That stillness is his strength. And as you ascend to this state of mastery, you will notice something miraculous. You will cease to chase results. They will begin to chase you. Opportunities will find you, for life always seeks order. The disciplined mind creates order, and the universe responds with abundance. This is no miracle, it is mathematics. Energy flows toward clarity. The more focused and emotionally balanced you become, the more life harmonizes around you. You will attract people, resources, and conditions that mirror your state of order. You will begin to live not by effort, but by alignment. But never forget, order must be maintained. Discipline must be renewed daily. The mind, left unattended, decays. Emotion, left unchecked, revolts. You must practice command every day until mastery becomes instinct. The moment you stop building yourself, entropy begins to reclaim you. Discipline is not an act, it is a lifestyle. Detachment is not a mood, it is a state of being. So when you rise each morning, before the noise of the world can invade your peace, speak to yourself with authority. Declare your purpose, affirm your philosophy, commit to discipline, command your thoughts, direct your emotions. And as you do, remember this eternal truth. Your vision must be larger than your limits, because your limits are only as large as your vision allows them to be. There comes a time in every man's evolution when he must choose between comfort and calling, between habit and greatness, between the known and the possible. And that moment, quiet, invisible to the world, is the point of destiny. No one will see it happen. No one will clap their hands when it does. But within that single decision, everything shifts. The mediocre surrender to emotion. The master submits only to purpose. The weak ask, what will it cost me? The strong ask, what will it make of me? The weak seek ease. The strong seek excellence. The weak fear sacrifice. The strong understand that sacrifice is the price of sovereignty. For what is freedom if not the power to govern yourself completely? Discipline is the foundation upon which all higher freedom is built. The child demands indulgence, the adult demands control. The masses crave entertainment, the master craves evolution. If you would rise above the crowd, you must pay the price the crowd refuses to pay. The price is focus, silence, endurance, and solitude. You must learn to walk alone long enough to know your own strength. Do not misunderstand solitude. It is not loneliness. Loneliness is emptiness of purpose. Solitude is fullness of purpose. The one flees from silence, the other seeks it. The one dreads reflection, the other draws power from it. Solitude is the forge of the disciplined mind. It is the environment in which thought refines itself into law. In solitude, the soul hears its true command. The noise of the world dies and the whisper of destiny becomes audible. Within that silence, you discover the law of inner causation. Everything external is but the echo of something internal. Poverty, failure, chaos, anxiety, these are not accidents, they are signals, mirrors of disorder within. Likewise, abundance, success, serenity, and influence are signals of alignment within. The world does not conspire against you, it simply reflects you. It mirrors your order or your confusion, your faith or your fear, your self-mastery or your self-neglect. And thus, to change your life, you must first change your thought. Not casually, not occasionally, but systematically. You must treat the mind as a laboratory, where every idea is tested, purified, and repeated until it crystallizes into habit. For thought repeated long enough becomes belief, and belief hardens into character, and character commands destiny. That is the cause and effect of all human experience. Thought, belief, emotion, action, result, identity. Most attempt to change results while ignoring cause. They rearrange external circumstances but keep the same internal disorder. They switch jobs but keep the same fear. They change partners but retain the same insecurity. They alter appearance but preserve the same self-concept. And so, life repeats the lesson until mastery is achieved. If you wish to rise, stop rearranging the surface. Descend into the structure. Examine your philosophy. Question your assumptions. Challenge your automatic emotions. Ask yourself, do my thoughts serve my purpose or do they sabotage it? Until your mind becomes your ally, life will continue to oppose you. This brings us to the law of emotional ownership. You are responsible for every feeling you entertain, not because every feeling is chosen, but because every feeling can be governed. The undisciplined man blames the world for his turmoil. The master thanks the world for revealing it. No insult can disturb you unless it finds an echo within. No setback can paralyze you unless your philosophy allows it. The mind cannot be offended without its consent. Therefore, take responsibility for your internal weather. Refuse to let anyone else hold the power to ruin your peace. Detach from the emotional chaos of others. Detach from the collective panic of the crowd. Detach from the need for validation. Each time you withdraw permission from external influence, you reclaim another inch of sovereignty. When your peace no longer depends on people or conditions, you have become invincible. The world is full of reactionaries, men and women who let every shift of circumstance dictate their mood. They are up when praised and down when ignored. They glow when admired and dim when criticized. But the sovereign man, he who has mastered detachment, remains constant. He knows who he is, and therefore he cannot be diminished. And what of fear? Fear is the greatest thief of all, stealing time, stealing opportunity, stealing greatness. Yet fear, too, is only an emotion. It is not a wall, but a mirage. It cannot stop you unless you kneel before it. The only way to destroy fear is to confront it calmly. Panic feeds it, understanding dissolves it. When you examine fear closely, you will see it for what it is, a distorted projection of imagination. You imagine failure and call it prophecy. You imagine judgment and call it fate. But imagination, when disciplined, becomes faith, and faith, when applied, transforms the impossible into reality. Thus, the cure for fear is not denial, but redirection. Turn imagination towards success. Visualize victory as vividly as you once envisioned defeat. This is the law of substitution. The mind cannot hold two opposing thoughts at the same time. Replace the destructive with the constructive. Replace doubt with decision, anger with understanding, resentment with gratitude, and fear with preparation. Every negative thought expelled must be replaced by a positive directive. Otherwise, the weeds will return. Understand, emotional control does not eliminate emotion, it refines it. You still feel deeply, but you act deliberately. You still experience passion, but you channel it wisely. You still have desire, but you are no longer enslaved by it. Control is not suppression, it is elevation. Now we approach the law of mental equilibrium. Equilibrium is balance between thought and feeling, faith and reason, discipline and flow. Too much emotion clouds judgment. Too much intellect paralyzes initiative. The wise live in harmony with both. They think with logic and feel with intuition, but neither dominates. They are like pilots flying through storm and sunlight alike, steady, centered, deliberate. This equilibrium grants peace, and peace grants power. For only the peaceful mind can see clearly. The turbulent mind misinterprets everything. The angry mind sees enemies where there are lessons. The fearful mind sees endings where there are beginnings. The calm mind perceives reality, and perception aligned with reality is the highest form of intelligence. Let us now consider the law of progressive refinement. Mastery is not achieved in one leap. It is the gradual purification of thought through repetition. You do not overcome emotion once and remain perfect. You overcome it again and again until your victory becomes habit. Each day is training. Each thought is practice. Each reaction is feedback. The disciplined use every experience as a sharpening stone for the blade of consciousness. And this process never ends, for perfection is not the goal, progress is. Each refinement of thought makes the next refinement possible. Each layer of discipline reveals the next layer of freedom. To live this way is to live as an artist of the self, sculpting character out of raw experience. So remember, greatness is not discovered, it is designed. Destiny is not inherited, it is engineered. You are both the builder and the blueprint. Life is the canvas. Discipline is the brush. Vision is the light that reveals form. The small-minded wait for miracles. The wise manufacture them. They do not beg for luck. They prepare for law. For luck is merely law misunderstood. Every result is a reflection of preparation. Every victory is the product of order. And now we arrive at the final turning point of this revelation. Vision must be larger than limits. Why? Because vision is the engine of discipline. When the dream is small, discipline falters. But when the dream is vast, discipline becomes joy. The man who serves a great cause does not grow weary in effort, for he knows his work echoes beyond the moment. The man who serves a trivial aim is exhausted by every inconvenience, for he sees no meaning in the struggle. Therefore, enlarge your vision until it swallows every limitation. Let it stretch your mind, test your courage, and call forth your highest self. Your vision must be large enough to frighten you, for only a dream that intimidates you can transform you. The man with no vision lives by reaction. The man with vision lives by creation. The first drifts with the tide. The second commands the current. The first looks for guidance. The second becomes guidance. So choose now. Shall you live as an echo of the world or as its architect? Shall you remain confined by your emotions or will you rise to govern them? Shall you cling to limits or expand beyond them through discipline? Because in the end, the only real limitation is the size of your faith, the scope of your vision, and the discipline you apply to bring it to life. There is a moment when you have endured long enough, believed deeply enough, and mastered yourself completely enough that the vision within you becomes not an idea, but an inevitability. At that moment, the world ceases to feel like resistance and begins to feel like reflection. It mirrors back the order you have built within. And when that happens, when your discipline becomes the rhythm of your days and your detachment becomes the calm beneath every storm, you will know that you have crossed the invisible line that separates dreamers from creators, thinkers from commanders, mortals from masters. You will no longer chase success. Success will be drawn toward you. You will no longer fear failure. Failure will become your teacher. You will no longer seek control of circumstance. You will possess control of self. And the man who governs himself governs the world. For the ultimate truth is this: your vision is the seed of your future, and your discipline is the soil in which it grows. The quality of your soil determines the strength of your tree. If the soil is shallow, full of excuses, doubt, and emotional weeds, your dream will wither. But if your soil is deep enriched with patience, faith, and control, Your tree will endure every season and bear fruit that nourishes generations. Understand then that vision without discipline is illusion, and discipline without vision is exhaustion. You must have both. Vision gives meaning to sacrifice. Discipline gives structure to inspiration. Vision without discipline is a spark that dies in the wind. Discipline without vision is machinery without direction. Unite them, and you have the unstoppable formula of creation. Now listen closely, for this is the law of all mastery. What you think about consistently and what you emotionally commit to repeatedly must eventually express itself in the physical world. Thought crystallizes into belief. Belief organizes into habit. Habit compounds into destiny. If your thoughts are chaotic, your life will reflect that chaos. If your thoughts are ordered, your life will rise in perfect symmetry. The mind is the architect, and the outer world is the obedient material. It is not enough to think positively. You must think precisely. It is not enough to feel deeply. You must feel deliberately. It is not enough to act occasionally. You must act consistently. Success is the sum of calm precision applied over time. It is the quiet authority of a mind that knows what it wants and refuses to be distracted. Discipline is not a single act. It is a posture of existence. It is the way you meet every day, every challenge, every conversation, every temptation. It is the steady hand that holds your purpose, even when your emotions tremble. It is the silent strength that carries you when inspiration disappears. And as you live this way, something profound begins to occur. Your very presence changes. People sense it. They cannot explain it, but they feel the weight of your composure, the force of your focus, the gravity of your certainty. You radiate the invisible power of a mind under perfect command. The undisciplined react to life, the disciplined radiate through it. This is the law of inner radiance. Whatever you cultivate within, you project without. When you think calmly, you speak powerfully. When you feel deeply but act deliberately, you command attention. The world responds to those who have mastered themselves. For mastery is magnetic. Confidence does not need to announce itself. It is felt like heat. Authority does not shout, it resonates. And yet this power carries responsibility. Once you possess mastery over self, you are no longer permitted the excuses of the weak. You cannot blame, for blame is reaction. You cannot resent, for resentment is attachment. You cannot procrastinate, for delay is self-betrayal. The disciplined mind operates by law, not by mood. It acts because it must, not because it feels like it. You must now embody the principle of immediacy. Whatever your vision requires, do it now. Do not wait for a better mood, a safer moment, or a perfect condition. Those who wait become servants of hesitation. Those who act become masters of momentum. Every second you delay, your vision dims. Every act of immediate execution strengthens its light. The man who acts while others analyze will always possess what the thinkers only imagine. Momentum is the breath of mastery. Once you begin to move, the universe moves with you. Each disciplined action sends a signal to the subconscious that says, "This is who I am." And once identity is convinced, behavior becomes automatic. The mind trained in discipline no longer wrestles with temptation, it simply acts in accordance with principle. That is true freedom. Do not aim merely to achieve, aim to embody. When discipline becomes nature and vision becomes identity, success ceases to be effort and becomes expression. You will not struggle to act rightly. You will be unable to act otherwise. And now let us speak of the final law, the law of transcendence. Beyond the pursuit of success lies something greater, serenity. When your vision is vast enough, you no longer chase possession. You chase purpose. You begin to live not merely for gain, but for growth, not merely for power, but for peace. The highest achievement is not wealth or fame. It is command of self, so complete that nothing external can disturb your internal kingdom. This is not escape from the world, it is dominion over it. It is the serenity of knowing that all things serve your evolution. You no longer resist life, you cooperate with it. You no longer argue with difficulty, you use it. You no longer fear time, you direct it. The disciplined mind is beyond disturbance because it no longer interprets events as good or bad, it sees only cause and consequence, lesson and law. And when you reach this state, you will realize that your power was never in controlling the world, but in controlling your reaction to it. You will see that emotional detachment was never about indifference, but about precision. You will understand that mental discipline was never about rigidity, but about harmony. You will know that true mastery was never about dominance over others, but about dominion over yourself. The man who governs himself becomes the instrument of higher order. He becomes the calm in the storm, the light in the chaos, the stillness in the noise. He no longer prays for easier battles. He prays for greater strength. He no longer asks, "Why me?" but "What for?" He no longer waits for luck, for he has learned to create cause. And so, I tell you, let your vision be so vast that it frightens your fears. Let it be so luminous that it outshines your doubts. Let it be so sacred that it disciplines your impulses. Build a philosophy so strong that no criticism can penetrate it, so deliberate that no failure can shake it, and so consistent that time itself bows before it. If you allow emotions to govern your actions, you forfeit your power. But if you command your thoughts, you command your future. If you live by reaction, you remain ordinary. But if you live by vision, you become extraordinary. The path is narrow, but it is glorious. Few will walk it, but those who do will know the rare peace that comes from mastery. They will rise in every arena: wealth, leadership, influence, love, not because they chase these things, but because these things are drawn to them. For the disciplined man does not pursue abundance, he radiates it. He does not seek greatness, he becomes it. He does not beg life for favor, he embodies law, and law serves him. And when, at last, you look back upon your life, you will see that every trial, every silence, every waiting season was not wasted. It was working for you. It was sculpting you into the image of the man or woman you were meant to become. So stand tall, take command, speak your purpose aloud, and make it law in your mind. Govern your emotions, discipline your will. Enlarge your vision until it exceeds your limits and transforms your life into proof that thought, guided by discipline, can command the universe itself. Do this, and you will no longer live as a servant of chance. You will live as a creator of destiny. Your vision must be larger than limits, because limits were only ever illusions, waiting for the disciplined mind to shatter them.